Alright, so here we have a, let's see if we get some light. We have a Pioneer, where does it say then? The CT-A7. Picked it up second hand, fully working order except for that the fast forward and the reverse did not work. When the reverse functions do not work, I always assume that it's sort of like the idler wheel and whatnot, and I checked it out, and well, I'll show you in a bit where you can see that the idler wheel is not really working. Alright, just like I promised, I would just show the functionality of it and sort of how we can trace back the problem. So if we put in a cassette in here, it will automatically retract, and I can just press play and it will start playing. But if I try to fast forward, it will, well, now actually it works. Let's try reverse. Yeah, that doesn't work. Fast forward works, alright. And play works, yeah. And this looks nice, actually. I think these are fucking cool LEDs. On the camera they look a bit blue, but they're completely green, sort of like this color in real life. But reverse, nah, reverse doesn't work, and it just gives up after a while. Fast forward works, and then you have these search functionalities as well. It automatically searches up the next song, and if we reverse that, it doesn't work there either. Alright, stop. Eject works, back, and that works as well, yeah. It's nice, it's actually nice. So how do we find the error for a fast forward then? If you have no idea what to look for, I would say start with the belts and things like that. Actually, what the hell is this? There's just a belt here. I was like, I've not looked at this before. There's literally just a belt hanging like here. Okay. This has clearly been tampered with before, and someone just left a belt there. I have no idea why. It's probably not this that's lacking, because I suppose this is like a normal driving belt, and since play is working, that's not the issue. What we can see here is the capstan wheel is spinning when we use the cassette door function. This whole mechanism is spinning with this rubber here, this one, and this little motor here is spinning, this one, which drives the capstans, and obviously that works because the play function works. So the only thing that doesn't really seem to work is this motor, and we can test that by pressing reverse as we just hold this one, because you will feel if it sort of starts or not. Yeah, and I can feel it clicking and actually running if I hold my finger on it. It slightly vibrates. So then I know the motor is working, but the motor in itself is connected to something else. So it's quite tricky to see this on the camera. God, I should have thought about this. In here, there should be an idler wheel, and on this particular model, it seems to be incredibly hard to show you this. Fucking hell. how do I do this? Well, I'll show you when I detach the whole housing, and you'll see what they mean. So to remove the whole tape mechanism, you have one screw down there that I've already removed, and you have one on the other side as well there. You can't really see it in the camera, but there's one there. Then you will have one here. You will have one there, and two on the other side in parallel locations. And I believe that's all the screws. Yeah, I don't think you actually need to unscrew any more screws. What you need to think about though is the cable management. I can see someone has already fiffled about with this deck, because the cables are all like, yeah, it's not a mess, but usually they're clipped with these tidy clips, like pretty much everywhere, and they're all done. So you would have to get these removed and just get it a little bit more free up, a bit more space so you can move it about. And just watch out so that you don't accidentally like bend any of these pins or whatever when you're trying to remove something. Sometimes you might want to remove these, and simply, if you don't know, you just pull some of these out by just by taking a firm grip and pulling out. But some of them sometimes you can't pull out, so you gotta be careful to note that there is some locking mechanism on it, like this. Then you're sure that it's made to be able to pull out. Alright, I forgot to mention one more thing. On this particular model, I like to remove the power switch sort of extender here. It goes to this power switch, and it's sort of in the way when you want to remove the old cassette mechanism. You can't really move it out because of this blocking it. So what you gotta do is just remove the button and then split it apart right here. Just show you really quickly. I'll put the camera here. So bear with me here for a second. Like, you see how it's split right there? It didn't break. You can just put it back in together. Just a plastic lock, and then you just rotate it and you pull it out from here. That's how you do with the twisting motion thing. There you go. And now this cassette will be a lot easier to just pick out. You just gotta do it with a bit of finesse here. Prepare a spot where you're gonna put it, so you don't have to faffle about once you get it out like this. And just take it careful so you don't ruin anything, and don't touch any like sensitive components. And take it slowly. Watch the cables so that you accidentally don't pull any cables out or damage any connectors. Just a slow progress. Like so. There we go. There we have it all out. This is the cassette mechanism. I like to keep all the wires in if possible, and right now, because they're all sort of loose like this, you can just have them like this, and you can test around and check out all the functionalities. Next, I suppose you would want to remove the back cover here, where all the connectors go in, and I suppose you do that through these screws here, and also this screw here, and yeah, that's about it. You also have this little motor here that drives the lid function, that closes and opens the door, and you just want to make sure that you don't like unnecessarily put strain on that or ruin the little belt that goes here. So I'm just gonna unscrew this and come back after. So alright, I pull out all the screws for the backplate. Now we just need to pull this little spring off. We'll do that very easily like that. Just make sure to remember where it sits, and don't forget to put it back afterwards, right? And then you just simply pull out the whole assembly thing here, like so. And with these wheels, this one, not this one in particular, but you can see, hold on here, this this one is like a position sensor. Oh, hold on, focus. Yeah. This one is a position sensor that sort of sees what position this wheel is in, so it knows whether or not the lid is closed, it's open, what the fuck is happening. So you need to make sure that this wheel is in the same position when you put it back on again. So most of these things have small indicators on them, like what position is where and whatnot. But I'm just gonna make my own because I don't trust this shit. Maybe there. So put a little marker there. That's where the top is. That's where it sort of meets this ridge. That's my marker. And also because this cogwheel connects to this wheel at the end here, I'm also gonna mark this one, what kind of position this wheel is in. So let's say, you see here, here's probably a marker right there, right? See this little hole? That's probably a marker, but I don't know what this is supposed to line up with, because yeah, I don't know. It looks a bit wonky right now, to be honest. Is this even how it works? Does it even pull? Yeah, it does, alright. So if I line this back up, that one on top, this one should line up in this hole here. See that? That's definitely a marker. It lines up right in this hole when I have this one at the top right there. Remove the next plate, which is this one, which houses this main capstan motor, you just need to unscrew this screw, the second screw right there, and one here, and that's pretty much all. Alright, with the backplate out, engine, it sort of looks good, no real problems here. The belt looks alright. You can see there's quite a bit of residue, like rubber residue, on the wheel and on the capstan wheel itself. And we have another belt here, which just goes to the second capstan. That one seems better though, but this one left a bit of a residue, so we're gonna clean that up. To remove the capstans on this side, these two wheels, you kind of need to look on the other side here and remove the whole cassette housing thing, and obviously the cassette as well, to just pull out these capstan pins and washers. So to do that, you just unscrew these, remove the metal plate, and then after that I'll show you. So to remove the cassette, I kind of need to lower the cassette door mechanism. So how do you do that? Well, you can do it manually by spinning on this wheel, and it will raise the thing and it will pop out by just spinning this wheel clockwise. And once in this position, you can easily just take the tape out. And you also have these plastic guides, one on each side. This one is stuck to the dampener, and this one is stuck to the sensor. And this is an interesting little focus, please. An interesting little detail. It's a laser optical sensor. It sort of just registers if a cassette enters the guide path. And this could perhaps need some cleaning, I don't know. So to pull out these capstans over here, what you kind of just need to do, some people like to take this side first, because there's two washers here. You can't really see them now, but it's that little round thingy there, made out of Teflon. They like to pull that out with some little flat screw head or something, but you can literally just take a firm grip here and you just pull out, and the washer will sort of just follow it. And since I'm holding the camera, I can't do this, but I just put the camera here. I can hold the washer with one hand and I can pull this one with the other, and just sort of real carefully just pull it out and make sure, make sure to not lose this one. They're pretty easy to lose. So we take out this one first. There's a bunch of cables in the way right now because I have not loosened them anything. And watch the belt. Just peel that off. And slowly, cable by cable, sort of just pull this out. And you don't want to bend it, so it should go easily. No, not much force, right? And there's a spring, which I just lost. There we go. There's a spring as well. Goes, oh god, and cock. Yeah, I just lost that spring, but I'm gonna put it back here when I find it. And pull the belt out. Just remember, it went from the lower the lower diameter on the left side, facing this way, to the larger diameter of this one. Just so you don't mix that up. You can't really mix it up because you will notice the slack on it if you put it wrong. So you do the same thing with this side. Slowly pull it out. Make sure you have a good grip. The washer, which I don't have. Fuck. Yeah. Can't really. There we go. Motherfucker. And just slowly pull out. Second capstan. So there we go. Capstans are pulled out. And we got ourselves a proper mess. Congrats. Alright. So after taking out the capstans, what you kind of want to focus on is just cleaning them, making sure that they look good, and put some lubrication on the spindles. Just make sure you don't like have a bunch of grease on the spindle itself. So if we take the dirty one first, what I like to do is take these normal cotton sticks and have some bottle of this is isopropyl. It's good for cleaning grease and oils, and it won't leave any sort of residue, which is really great. And you just go over it like this, and you gotta have some patience with it. Soon you'll see that it sort of disappears. The residue sort of just washes away with it. And sometimes you will have to change these cotton swabs if they get too dirty, but it's just a normal, effortless job, really. I mean, imagine doing this every day for about 50 years. Yeah, the life of an audio repairman back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Yeah. Sounds pretty nice to me. I mean, I don't even have to change the swab. It seems to work for the whole thing. And getting to the end here. Here we go. Completely clean. So just gonna So while we're at it, we could even look at these pinch rollers a bit. The pinch rollers are these. That sort of just makes the path of the tape a bit easier and more even for the head to read. If I zoom into this one and get it to zoom in, to focus a bit better. Fucking hell, that's our task. You should be able to see. This is terrible quality. I'm sorry, folks. This is about as good as it gets with a Samsung S8. Well, you can see that there's no obvious cracking. It doesn't look super dry, but it does look a bit dirty, and you can see it definitely has some shine to it, which means that we will clean it with some isopropyl on there as well. And it's sort of the same thing with this one. No obvious cracking, not even small cracks really, if you watch it with the eye and not with the camera. And for the record, the head looks a bit dirty, but it seems okay. need a bit of a cleaning as well. Alright, so next up we just want to remove the backplate. So you can easily do this by unhooking it here, and these two. So I'm gonna start at the top and just unhook it here, and then sort of just slide it out like this. And it has the light attached to it on the back side, of course. Right here. I'm not sure if you can see it like this. So just be careful with the wires here. We're just gonna put that to the side like this. So here we go. Now we're getting to the interesting stuff here. So when we press play, this whole mechanism sort of goes up. Oh, I'm gonna be a bit careful about this. But this this whole head gets pulled up, alright? And it can then read the tape that goes along the path here. And when we rewind, we have this little idler wheel here that's always spinning, and I do mean this wheel in here. Yeah, that one. It just changes position. It sways over. I'm gonna show you later. An interesting detail I noticed on this one is this little sensor here that seems to track maybe the RPM or something of the machine. I'm not sure, because it doesn't have an automated speed control unit. I believe it doesn't. It doesn't say it. It's like driven by some quartz system or something. So I'm not quite sure what this actually does. Alright, so I've removed the this part, which does have some small rubber feet, or whatever I can say, that sort of clings on to these areas. Notice the little uneven shape of this axle that sat here. You need to rotate this one. It sits like this, right? You need to rotate it 90 degrees like this to be able to pull it up. It should be pretty apparent to most people, but it's good to point out that you just don't yank it out. So the main sort of driving wheel, this is directly from a motor in the back here, which is directly driving this idler wheel. And now I can show you this, like the swing mechanic of it. So when you fast forward, it swings here and it rotates this capstan, this motor wheel. Sorry, not capstan. And this will make it rotate clockwise on the left one, which will pull back the tape to the previous location. And when you fast forward, you will just switch this one over to this side, and it will roll this tape and make it pull forward the magnetic tape, and it does this by friction. This is the essential thing, really, because without friction it wouldn't be able to do this. It could also be between the engine axle or axis and the idler wheel itself. So it could be between this one and the idler wheel itself. This one has an uneven surface, not rubber, and will naturally wear out the idler wheel before this one wears out. So usually, unless someone has put a bunch of grease on it, which I see that there's a bunch of grease on it here, and if that gets in the rubber here, it could make it slip, but I don't think that's the problem. So next we're gonna try to pull out the idler wheel and see how that looks. To take out the idler wheel, you could probably just take out the rubber and from this position, but I thought to make it properly, we should probably remove the main motor first, which you do with a screw here and a screw. So I'll just get out the old trusty isopropylene and we'll have a bit of a clean. I mean, as you do the idler wheel, once we have the motor majority of the removed, there's a little pin with the technical cleaning guy. There's this sort of center with a spring on it, which you can't really see on camera. But the center ring has a spring behind it, and there's a center pin, which you can see from behind here, which you just need to push out. So this little center pin, you just push it from this back side. You push it out with quite some force. You need to push it a bit, but essentially how you do it is you can do this with a small screwdriver or something. You put your screwdriver in the center of that pin and you hold on the other side with your hand like this, and you push like this, and essentially I've pushed in the pin a bit, which would have pushed forward the whole rotation axle of it. So now you can kind of see the feather mechanism there, because it bounced out a little bit. So now all you need to do is to sort of take like something like this and you just pull it out. Scrap that. Don't use one of these, because the amount of force required to do it will sort of mess up your washer here. So don't do that. What you want to do is you want to take like a really small screwdriver or something like that fits into this center hole, and just push it out on the other side with this one instead. So, can you see the cracking there? Yeah, actually the camera works pretty good now. Thanks, Samsung. This is the sort of thing that we want to look after, because this is pretty bad. This is bad cracking, and it means that the rubber is dry. So just comparing the new and the old idler wheel. Oh, sorry for the interference light. So you could probably guess which is the new and which is the old. You can see the new one is really like rubbery and has a very frictious surface, while the old one is yeah, looks like a really old tire essentially. So that's kind of what you want to look for. return to a bit of a neglected part. The capstan drive motor that is still pretty dirty. So again, you know the drill. This is pretty much what we do. Isopropyl, cotton sticks, and we dry. Actually, to make this a bit more efficient, what you could do, just watch out, because the mains power inlet is like right over there. So just put everything away so you don't shortcut anything, and don't touch with your fingers. And put the mains in the cassette deck, and flip the power switch over here, right? And you will pretty much have this one spinning. And you can kind of just clean it off a bit easier. So before putting everything back on, you would obviously have to attach the belt. Now, before attaching the belts, I like to take my professional lint-free cloth right here. Bought this at a professional shop for about 200 euros, and you just sort of do a wipe of the rubber, get rid of the residue on it. You can see there's a bit of it. Of course, another tip would be to always keep your stuff on your working bench in right order. Especially your screws should be all lined up and labeled correctly so that you will place them in the correct place when you're remounting your stuff. I do recommend to use 1 drop of isopropyl. Isopropyl, the cure for all dust. When trying to remount the cassette door function here, you would not only have to place these plastic sliders in line with this metal frame, you also have to line up this guide, or this, whatever I can call it, with these holes here on both sides, so that it looks a bit like that. No, not at all, sorry. But it looks like this. And to do that, I'm gonna use a cassette to hold both parts in place. Alright, so this is how it looks with the cassette then. So as you can see, this one is centered, and the other side is centered as well. And it can like move on this side. And important parts of this is in place in the guide, and this one obviously can't be removed because it's stuck. So the only thing to do now is to screw this metal plate on with 2 screws here and there. I tried to screw on this metal plate while having the cassette in. Problem is it keeps like wiggling around, and it's not stable at all. It looks stable, but it doesn't let me screw this on without these points just coming loose all the time. So a solution for that is just place it like I have it here, then use this reel to just pull both cassette door in. Just make sure it's correctly placed. That doesn't look good. Alright, let's try that again. It should follow the correct... Oh, hold on. Yeah, there we have the problem. It's not lined up again. Like, it keeps doing this when I try to screw in the door as well. Alright, here we go. Let's try that again. There we go. Now it's nice and flush. And it's a lot more stable. So we can screw this plate back on like this. So the next step would be to reassemble the lid control unit, or the door control unit, sorry. But before we do that, we should remember the little marker, the alignment marker I put. And you can see it's not quite in place yet, so I'm just gonna move this wheel until I get that one in place. So let's see if that works. Oh, wrong way. Wrong way again. There we go. So that one is aligned now. And then you should see... Yeah, there it is. So it's all perfectly aligned. And now we can go ahead and put the whole control unit back in. And just remember to keep this one so that it fits with this shape. This is no big risk, but maybe somehow accidentally moved this position switch. Which after remounting the last backplate here, just remember that you have the last spring here that you're gonna attach to this one here. Abrasive, so it won't damage the head. Actually, anytime you sort of touch the head or do something with that, you kind of want to just power off the unit. I have to be completely honest, I don't know if it would actually affect it if I had it on right now, but it's just like a rule of thumb I do. And it doesn't seem to be that dirty actually. It seems to be fine. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I'll take the eraser as well. And nothing there. And I'll switch it on and just take the tape guides like this. While they're spinning, it's a lot easier. And don't clean it all the way in, because you still want the core axle to be lubricated. What I mean is, like, don't clean all the way in here where the washer is, and here. Oh, you can't really see on the camera, sorry. Don't clean all the way, like in right here. Just clean this top part. while you're in here and you have the front cover off, you can just go ahead and sort of dust these things off and clean it off, clean all the buttons off and all the dust here. Alright, so pretty much done. Just testing it out. Seems to work fine. I mean, the whole door mechanism thing really does work very well. Very smooth, good working thing. And I mean, not the best test tape maybe, but it does sound pretty nice. It's alright. It does forward pretty nicely. I don't know if it finds the next track, but let's find out, I guess. Yeah, I'll give up on that one. But it does play. And yeah, let's test the rewind, because that's the reason why we actually pull this thing apart. There we go. It does rewind pretty nicely. These meters are gorgeous though. It does have pretty good sound actually, fucking hell. Should probably lower a bit, I mean. Yeah, it seems to work fine actually. I'm happy with that. It's pretty cool. We do have some stuff left though. We could do some audio testing. We have all this mess to fix. I'll do some nice cable management. It's a bit dusty, to be honest. I mean, I shouldn't really be touching it right now, but if I could take this one and just take a swipe of it, you would see how freaking dusty this is. Like, holy shit. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much done. Yeah. As you can see, the meters are fairly even as well, which is good because they should be on this track. I really do like when the door design, so you can see like the whole cassette tape. It's pretty neat actually. Yeah, overall a big thumbs up for this one actually. It's nice. It's like a fucking IQ challenge.